Hi, I'm Sam Morecambe. One of my roles here at South Dartmoor Community College is to coordinate and oversee the project-based learning in the curriculum and with extracurricular activities in science, technology, engineering and maths, including computer science, which is STEM. We do a lot of project-based learning at South Dartmoor to inspire and motivate students across the STEM disciplines and with their learning across the whole school. I first met David Worrell from the Devonport Field Gun Association at a local families day at a dockyard, Babcock dockyard down in Plymouth. I saw the tent there and I saw some of the replicas that they had spent clearly ages making themselves, I think as a sort of a hobby. And I saw the potential of it. Like any teacher, I think sometimes you see something and it sparks your imagination and you think, well, if it sparked my imagination as an adult, what potential has it got to spark the imagination of students? So I wandered over and I chatted to him and I said, you know, to what extent is this in schools? And I think at that point he was working closely with maybe 1 or 2 primary schools, but they were manufacturing these field guns by hand. There were a small group of students there, and they were fantastic. They were working really well as a team, they were racing, they were collaborating really well, there was the competitive edge, and they were absolutely loving it. And I just think, well, if there is that amount of scope purely in just running it, let's have a look at what it'd be like if the students could be involved in making it as well. And I saw then the potential of it to be a brilliant STEM project, as in they could be making gunpowder, they could be doing the drawings themselves using CAD packages, you could export to local business and industries, and you know, the opportunities are endless. Also the links to other subjects like history and the kids understanding how and where the field gun came to be, and also the art, the science behind it, the history research, and applying all of these skills together to come up with a really exciting project, which the end result would be building and learning to race one of these field guns, learning the drills with the physical activity involved. The kids, I'm absolutely, at this point, would absolutely go for this. So I decided, right, let's see if David and I can work together, and it was a brilliant, brilliant opportunity which was worth grasping. For me, junior field gunning is the harnessing of students' enthusiasm. When you saw the kids working towards the end result of the project, and you saw age groups from year 7 to 11 working together really enthusiastically, so across age groups, and also boys and girls mixed across genders, working together to build this field gun, learn the drills, practice, pick each other up after they've made mistakes, check each other if they've sustained some kind of broken nail or injury. That comradeship and that competitive harnessed it was like they were a well-oiled machine. I didn't need to be there. I don't think you could have dropped a bomb next to them, they wouldn't have noticed. The way they had that real drive to do well and endure and get something done and really succeed at something was fantastic. And from my point of view, I was completely teacher as a facilitator. They had it sussed, they knew exactly what they were doing. And that's the kind of attitudes and life experiences that you want to foster in students today. It's really nice as a teacher to see the students that are first of all interested in a club or an activity coming in and being a little bit nervous. They might be seeing other students, because we're quite a big college, that they've never worked with or shared a class with before, maybe in different year groups, and they all come in a little bit nervous. But for me, seeing their journey from that to the end of the project, they grow in confidence, they shout at each other. You've got little year 7 girls shouting at year 10 and 11 boys, and everyone's got their job to do, and they all have that real feeling of self-importance. And the nature of the field gun and the drill and racing it is everyone has their own job to do, and it's absolutely essential that you do that job in order for the whole team to succeed. Now, there are lots of opportunities in the school curriculum at the moment where students can work together and can work collaboratively, but they're kind of assessed a lot of the time, unless it's like a football match or something like that, they're assessed individually. Now, this is a real competition, high intense speed, necessity. They have to do their job and they're assessed as a team, but what they do actually matters and what makes a difference. From a sense of what the students get from it, that student then knows what I do will make a difference here. They'll practice. You can see I love the girls talking through what they had to do and who had to do what, and then talking to the boys saying you weren't doing your job properly, and again, I didn't need to do any of that. They were completely focused on doing that in themselves. When it came to when we were building the field gun, they divided up the tasks completely independently. So the girls wanted to do this on research, they wanted to create these posters, they wanted to be in charge of raising money for the kits, so they organised the cake sale. Meanwhile, and it sounds very sexist, but the boys were really keen on getting down and building the thing and making the CAD drawings and seeing how it all went together. What was nice though was throughout the project then, the boys would say to the girls, come on, you have a go at this then, look, this is how you hold a drill. And the girls would come over, have a go, have a giggle, and they loved it. And seeing them grow in confidence then towards the end of the project was fantastic, because then the girls would pick up a drill, they'd pick up a wheel, they'd crack on. And equally, the boys knew the importance of things like presentation when it came to presenting work, doing their research, and there's a huge amount of literacy skills involved. And again, that I think will then have an impact on their wider curriculum projects that they do. So it's funny how something so small and so unpoliced by a teacher actually has led to so much growth. And I think that's a real value to the students, because they learn to manage themselves and manage each other. Okay, so initially with regards to the whole project, we started out looking at science and how gunpowder was made, but also the history behind it. So the kids loved finding out that they used to use bishop's weed to help make gunpowder because bishops drank so much wine, and the kids thought that was hilarious. They had a go at making gunpowder and they were fascinated. They went home telling their parents all about it. But also the technology behind it, as in understanding how field guns used to be made, and the engineering employed in historical backgrounds, now looking at the new technology and how new technology can be harnessed. So using computer-aided design packages and manufacturing packages and exporting it to CNC machines. That the kids found amazing that we could do this little drawing, and particularly the ones at a young age that hadn't experienced it before, that can be exported to a huge great machine, and then your field gun comes back ready to assemble. They loved that. The maths behind it, it was something that I was a little bit concerned about to start with. But actually, when you think about the measuring, the understanding the sizes of the holes, the need for a tolerance fit between the wheels and the axles, but also then the girls, when they decided they were going to plan and do their cake sales, I hadn't fully appreciated at the beginning how much maths behind it there would be. But they had to then understand, well, we need float money and we need a certain amount of change with us, and where are we going to set up? So actually this became a little bit of a business for them as well, because they wanted to raise money for their kits. They then had to design their kits, and also the wider curriculum. But a part of their posters, they wanted to understand and present the history of the field gun. So they spent a little bit of time looking at the history of the Devonport Field Gun Association, where the idea of field gun came from, how it used to be at the Royal Tournament, and they spent a lot of time looking at that. There's amazing clips that you can find on the internet these days, and they sat there watching these great big army guys, so that when we ended up going to HMS Collingwood and they saw what they had been learning about in the real time, real people, and these absolutely massive field guns, they were amazed. And of course they went to it having done all of that research behind it. So with regards to tying into the curriculum, I think it made the curriculum across the whole college, science, computer science and their research skills, the technology of building it and harnessing new technology today, the maths and the business and the enterprise side of it. I think it made the whole college curriculum come alive through necessity for them. Okay, so to start with, David came in and did an amazing assembly with our whole student body, where he came and he spoke about the origins of the field gun, the history behind it, where it came from, how it evolved into essentially a sport in the Royal Tournament. And he was fantastic, and the students were really engaged, they really enjoyed it, they loved seeing the clips. After that, he came in and spoke to the students that then had an expression of interest in the project and they wanted to know a little bit more about it. So spending that one-to-one quality time with David as well was fantastic. Somebody from outside of the college who would come in to speak to them, and then they saw him at their lunchtime or after school to find out a little bit more, different from the ordinary teacher really, which is really good. Once we'd established who was going to be involved with the project, David then came in, kind of gave them the project brief of what they needed to do to look at these field guns and see how they were going to develop them using modern technology. The students then worked to produce some computer-aided design drawings ready to manufacture on CNC machines. David then arranged for them to be cut out commercially. So from a student perspective, working on these drawings with a teacher in school, to then suddenly have them dropped off, having been manufactured, was amazing for them. These have been cut out somewhere in industry. Wow. And that was fantastic for them as well. David then worked with them, with some other members of the Devonport Field Gun Association, to build them, which was really lovely because although they had acquired a lot of workshop skills in schools for their technology lesson, to actually be building it alongside someone from outside was again brilliant. And from my perspective as a teacher, I could really do a lot of the standing back and let the students take ownership and have to work with these outside people maturely, communicate effectively. And again, you know, the Devonport Field Gun Association aren't teachers, so they're somebody different that they need to liaise with and organise their time with and project manage with. Alongside that, the girls then took this upon themselves to go and organise this cake sale and write to local businesses because they've got a lot of confidence working with David. Right, well, let's see what other businesses might want to be involved in sponsorship or supporting us in some way. And they were really good. They were like little entrepreneurs. David then worked with these students to build this gun, and it was really good for them to see how the gun went together. They learnt the technical names of things, and of course they're chatting away as it goes. So when it comes to racing it and running it and learning the drills, they already know the parts. They already knew this was called the limber, this was called the trunnion, this was called the wheel axle, and they're things that the kid wouldn't have ordinarily known. So when it came to racing it, they absolutely knew what part went where, who had what job, who had built what. Ollie, you didn't put this screw in properly, for example. And working with the Field Gun Association to do not just the drilling, but the building of it as well was fantastic. And it helped them to build relationships with people outside college and also with the sponsors and the people that are, you know, really supporting them behind it. And they turned into really courageous, responsible, mature people that had a real inspirational approach to learning, and they were working with the Devonport Field Gun Association, who are really passionate about their cause as well. I knew that the project was doing really well when at one point a student who had gone off and done some research actually came back to me and thought that the Queen should be involved in what we were doing because, you know, with the Royal Tournament and everything, and Miss, could I borrow your phone to contact the Queen to see if she's in, please? And I just thought that was fantastic. And at that point I thought I can take a step back from this project. These kids are running it, they're on the ball, they're thinking outside the box, and they've got a view to the big picture here. And it's fantastic to have Devonport Field Gun Association who are so willing to give their time to come in and nurture these kids and help them grow in confidence in a school situation, but with a real life scenario. It is a fantastic opportunity for students to engage in essentially a real physical activity where they all need to work together as a team, where they need to link together their science learning, their history learning, their technology building skills and real life engineering thinking, their research skills, their literacy skills, their numeracy skills in a project that they can all pull together collaboratively with, but have the opportunity to be completely unique and essential in their own right. It is up to them to make sure this project works, but it's up to the whole team to pull together. This project has been a fantastic learning curve for me as a teacher, and actually for the students, they've loved it.